Secrets, babies, and lies. We're breaking it down right here on AfterBuzz TV's Dishin Days. Coming up next.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz.
Why, hello and happy Sunday, all of you Days of Our Lives fans. Welcome to AfterBuzz TV's Dishin Days, where we give you a full recap of NBC's #1 hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. I'm your host, Tony Moore, and I am joined by my lovely, beautiful, talented, smart co-host.
Aw, shucks. Hey, everyone. Tammy Corday here. Hi.
And it's just us two.
It's us two.
Yay!
Hi, baby.
Oh.
Just like in the beginning.
Oh, I know, right?
Yes.
I know. Back to the good old Tammy first day.
Oh my gosh.
In case you guys are wondering, Mark J. Freeman is around Hollywood being a wonderful actor.
Thespian
Of the aughts. He is learning his lines. He'll be opening up in a new play next weekend. So shout out to him, Break a Leg Girl.
Yeah.
And Michael Mattis is on vacay.
He's on vacay. Well-deserved vacay.
Yes, he decided to go visit the Palm of the Springs. So shout out to you as you're sipping your wine or rosé right next to a wonderful blue ocean-colored pool.
That's beautiful. I'm out of here. Bye.
Right. And for those of you tuning in, thank you so much for tuning in live. And if you haven't already, make sure you like us and follow us on all social media platforms. We are Dishin Days on Instagram and Facebook, and _Dishin Days on Twitter. The @ is implied. And if you're a huge fan of soap operas, make sure you watch our other recaps of your favorite soap operas. We have the GH Report, not today, but in a couple of weeks there it'll be back. And then we have Restless Rap if you're a fan of Young and the Restless. So make sure you check that out. Also, make sure you go to iTunes and listen to us there. If you're in the gym, in your car, on the way to work, whatever, you can still listen to us. Give us 5 stars and a comment, and who knows, you might be Fan of the Week.
Woohoo!
Whew, that was a mouthful. Talk about an intro. All right. How was the week for you?
It was so good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was literally every single day was so rock solid.
Yeah.
I loved it.
It was like a tea spilling week for me. Like, it just seems like everyone had something to share with someone else, and some stuff was going on and things and that and that, and you were just like,
yep. Exactly.
Taking it all in.
Chloe wasn't the only tea spiller in Salem this week.
Right.
It was just coming from everywhere.
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 So we might as well just go ahead and break it on down.
Let's do it.
It's now time to start Dishin Days. Tammy.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Ah,
Yay!
bravo!
Shout out to Steve in the booth.
I know, he's a rock star.
He like knows our cookie show backwards and forwards. Like, shout out to him for putting up with us.
Yes, yes.
All right, so let's kick things off with the ever so popular storyline.
The heartbreaking, just tear my heart out, throw it on the ground.
Oh my God.
Step on it like grapes, and
yes,
There's
so much going on. We have Chad, Abigail, Stefan, Gabby, JJ, and Kate.
Yes.
All right, so Gabby, can we just concentrate on her plan? And now that she has Kate, now she has Kate involved in it too. There's like, I'm intrigued at this plan that she has because it's so unlike Gabby. But there's a part of me that's kind of like, girl. But then there's another part of me that's like, okay, girl, I kind of get it. Like, you're mad. Like, you are pissed.
Yep.
And you just want to seek revenge for, like, being put through the ringer. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
What I'm loving is, okay, where do I begin? Okay.
Right.
What I'm loving is that there is a struggle within her, and they're using JJ as that voice of reason.
JJ has been the voice of reason for a lot of people.
Just that voice of reason, and every time she talks to him afterwards, she feels bad, and she starts to second guess her plans, and then she lets it go and she continues with it.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for that, because I think if she was just steamroll Gabby, I'm just going to bring everybody down, Gabby, it would be, as you were saying, this isn't her.
Yeah.
But it is her. It makes me feel better because she does have a conscience and she is struggling with it.
Yeah, but she's like, I feel like she's still kind of like, all right, we're doing this. And everything is like kind of strategically planned. Like even with talking to Ari and telling her the truth, which by the way, kudos to Ari being
That's pretty mature.
A little grown woman,
Yeah?
kind of being like, I'm mad at you till you tell me the truth, woman.
Yeah.
And she finally learns the truth, and then it's like, oh, stay the night. And it's like, oh, Chad, you have nowhere to go. And I was like...
But did Gabby know he was going to be there? I mean, I know they had set things in motion. Maybe not. I don't
know. Like, I couldn't tell if she knew about what had happened with him and Abigail, and maybe he would need to stay, or if all of a sudden in that moment she realized like another opportunity.
Absolutely.
I want him to stay.
Yes.
No, there's a whole lot.
Yes.
A whole lot. Yeah. Yeah.
I know there was a moment again between her and Kate, and I love it. That's what's so intriguing is what they're doing is so wrong.
Yeah.
It's so wrong.
Yeah.
But I love them working together. I love them working toward the bigger picture, which is bringing Stefan down. I feel bad for Chad because he's the collateral damage in all of this. But I can't stop. It's like watching a train. I can't stop watching.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. I don't want to watch. I don't want to encourage her. But gosh darn it, this is good stuff.
It's so good.
It's so good.
I can't wait for everything to unfold and unravel because it's like the bomb is coming.
It's all gonna blow up.
Yeah, but before I say how I feel, how do you feel about how Abigail is treating Stefan and how Chad has still been reacting to Stefan?
I feel I screamed at the television this week when she allowed him to touch her tummy.
Did you not want him to touch
I did not, no. And she had said from the get-go, you're not going to do this, and she said, you're not going to touch my stomach.
And
you're not going to do that.
She said, and I quote, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Thank you. So when she did allow that, I flipped out.
Really?
Completely flipped out. If you think Chad flipped out, you should have seen me in my living room.
Okay, so
what?
I'm on the other spectrum. Because here's my thing. She's accepted her alters. They all become one and they're all integrated in her, and she's accepting the choices that they've made. She has recognized that Stefan took advantage of her when she was Gabby. However, there's now a baby involved. Granted, it's Chad's, but for now, we're pretending it's Stefan's. And I feel like you can't take away those moments from Stefan and from that baby. However that baby came about, she even said, you're going to be loved, right? And yes, she wants Chad to give the baby that love. She's going to give the baby that love. But the baby has a father, and that's Stefan right now. So it's kind of like, why take him out of those moments?
Because her marriage right now is walking a very, very fine line, or walking thin ice, whatever the saying is. And for her to allow that moment, which she knows Stefan will use against Chad, which he did. What was his parting line? Thank you for letting me share in that very special moment.
Right.
And the timing was horrific. I get what you're saying, but the timing of it was completely wrong. Bad move on her part. Bad move. Chad's so fragile right now.
Yes, but also Chad has to decide what he's comfortable with and stick with it. Because he finally admitted to Marlena when he went and saw Marlena, I'm not comfortable with this. I don't want to do this. Well, then how are you going to accept it? You know what I mean? Like if Abigail is asking you to accept this and go with this, and if you truly love her, then be there for her, because, she's going through a lot too. You know, she had to make a choice as to whether or not to keep the baby or not. And it's kind of like, I feel her turmoil, because it's like, the baby didn't ask to be here. The baby didn't ask to be created.
Agreed.
So the baby shouldn't suffer. So in that sense, I'm like, the baby shouldn't suffer from the father being a part of
Agreed.
its life.
I know, but at the same time,
it's such a struggle, because even in the chat, everyone's like, you know, oh, let's not forget what Stefan did to her. No one's forgetting what happened, and it's already been called out. But even then, it was so weird, because it's like they were the alters were so realized as individual people. So it's tough to it's good to say, yes, you took advantage of me, because you knew that I was sick and you knew that I was an alter and you took advantage of me. And even with him, it's just kind of like, I get the confusion, because you're looking at it and you're like, it's Abigail, but it's Gabby, and it's still such a touchy, sensitive.
Yeah, very. It's very raw. It's very raw.
Yeah.
I love the fact that Marlena said to Chad, focus on the baby.
Mm-hmm.
There's all this peripheral turmoil and chaos. Just focus on the baby, which is what Abigail has done. And when he left the office, I think he was coming from that space of, you know what? I think I can do that.
Yeah.
And if I can do that, then we can get through this.
Yeah. Yeah.
The problem is Stefan is Stefan.
Yeah.
And he's going to use, if this was any other kind of man, if this was a nice man, someone with a compassionate heart, they could probably navigate this situation between the three of them.
Yeah.
But if Stefan uses these moments every single time against Chad, it's impossible. Chad is not going to be able to do this.
It's tough, because Chad's in a sticky situation. Abigail's in a sticky situation. Stefan is going to be in a sticky... Like, this whole situation is sticky.
And I was really torn about him leaving, because part of me thought, you know what? He needs space. He needs space to figure this out. And the majority of me was thinking, but you know what? You can't figure this stuff out together if you're not under the same roof.
Yeah.
That's how you figure stuff out. You don't just you can't walk away.
There were some, you know, everyone even in the chat has strong responses. Like, Havoc 6280 says, it's complicated. Stefan did technically rape Abby, but that isn't the kid's fault. He or she has a right to know their father and decide for him or herself once they're old enough. And then he said, granted, Chad is the real dad, but they don't know that. Kelly Fogg says, Abby had no control over what was happening. Stefan knew damn well what he was doing. Agreed. Orlando Williams says, the baby doesn't have a life yet. Him touching Abby's body, not a baby. He can come around in 6 months when the baby's born. And then the best line,
which Abigail said, like,
right.
You know. Yeah.
But the best line ever is Mike Bowman asking, is Marlena charging people?
Oh, it's all insured. It's all through insurance.
Yeah.
I actually had that moment too, Michael. That's hysterical that you said that.
And then it looks like people are liking Evil Gabby.
I'm loving it. I'm
Listen,
loving Evil.
girl,
I'm
get your
loving
life.
Evil. I was surprised, because I think all of us have been going back and forth the last few weeks of, is she going to cross the line and make a play for Chad? Because there was that moment where she was crying on her shoulder, and you had that like, oh no, is she going to make a play for him? But then the following week, you know, there wasn't any intonation to that. But then this week, it's clear. This week, it is clear. She is out to destroy not just Abigail's life, but to take everything that she has.
Yeah.
That's unsettling. I wasn't sure how to respond to that, because it was almost like as long as she doesn't cross that line, but she did, and she is. I know. I am on Chad's side right now.
I'm just
if I had walked in on that, I don't care how good my intentions are after seeing my therapist, I would not have had the capacity or the ability to take the higher road.
Listen, I'm just sitting in the Horton living room like, Don't know. We'll keep seeing how it plays out. I mean,
it's so painful.
It's kind of like, you know,
I'm sorry.
Abby's world is kind of slowly crumbling.
She's so stoic, you know, she's so, and I understand she doesn't want to get riled up because it's the health of the baby. She doesn't want to get stressed out and upset, but it's like, oh my gosh, how are you how can you just be so?
I bet inside she's just like, but she's trying to keep it together for the baby's sake because the baby can't feel all that stress. Oh, Lord Jesus.
I need something stronger than tea.
And kudos to Chad not wearing a suit. He came back in with just sweatpants and sneakers and a t-shirt.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Billy Flynn. I'll give you snaps for that since Mark can't. Snaps for that. All right, let's move on to the next storyline, which is Ben, Sierra, Trip, Hope, Rafe, and Claire.
Sin Sunday.
Okay. Will people give Ben a chance?
It's really hard to watch.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'm sure fans are probably like, oh my God, Tony is seeing the good in everybody. I think for me, this is what happened. Because I saw how he was with Sierra, I'm sold. I think he's changed. I think that as long as he sticks with the medication and he continues seeing his therapist, then like Marlena said,
I was going to say, thank you, Dr. Evans.
Yeah, he can live a very productive life. I didn't like Hope consistently trying to find something to pin him on. I didn't like that Hope went to Marlena and was like, retract what you said and send him back to the institution. Like, Marlena literally has a bigger stake in that because he killed her grandson. So if Marlena is willing to help him and like think about being his therapist and look at him and say, you know what, he has changed, that has to mean something. You know what I mean?
I was getting really frustrated with everyone, like you said, just no, evil, evil, evil.
Yeah.
The problem is, and you brought it up, is nobody else was in that cabin except Ben and Sierra. So nobody saw that side of him.
Right.
And really, the only human being capable of seeing that side of him outside of the cabin is Dr. Marlena Evans.
Yes.
She has the professional capacity to see through what needs to be seen through.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you. I've come up with what did I come up with? I came up with my own ship name, Barlena. Ben and Marlena. I love the two of them together.
Yeah.
I felt like, thank you. There's somebody on his side.
On his side, besides Sierra. Because Sierra's like,
Sierra.
you know, I'm going to fight with you. But Marlena is really like, no. And then Mike Bowman just reminded me that he tried to kill her too.
Yes.
In the office.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why she's so good at what she does.
And then April says, Hope having all the cops working triple shifts to find something on Ben is a waste of department resources. Someone needs to call Trask.
And Rafe brought that up. He's like, you gotta,
yeah. It's like, and then she was like, ding, okay, I'll close your case, but you gotta go.
Yeah, I loved what she came up with. I loved it. And I can't blame the town. After everything that went down, I can't blame them. It's going to be up to Sierra and Marlena to turn things around.
Yes.
And does it make a difference at this point who started the fire? And I love the whole hypnosis segment. That was fantastic.
Yes. Well, the fact that he didn't even do that to prove his innocence. He did that to prove to Sierra that I remembered and I didn't do it. And that's why he went over there to be like, look, I did this and I remember I didn't do it.
He just wanted to know.
Yeah.
I mean, he said to Marlena, whatever I remember, good, bad, or indifferent, you're free to tell anybody. I just need to know.
Yeah.
In my heart, I know I didn't do it. I would never hurt her. I would never hurt Ciara like that. But I need to know. And that was like, I love that medication. I love him on medication.
Oh.
He is the hero.
He's so great.
He's so good.
What did you think about Trip and Ciara moment and them almost making love?
Yeah. I was maybe a little surprised that she went there with Trip. But they've always had a connection. And she did say, I just want things to go back to the way they were. And I was like, oh, things can't ever go back to the way they were. But she just wants normal, and she wants that connection with him again. And so, and I felt she was ready. You know, she didn't look panicky, and when they were intimate, there weren't any of those terrible flashbacks. So I was willing to say, all right, okay, I'll go with it.
I wasn't feeling it.
You weren't feeling it?
I wasn't feeling it. Like, I felt like I didn't get the goosies like I did with Trip and Ciara anymore. Like I was watching Ciara and Ben.
From before? Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, I just felt like all of a sudden it's like, okay, now, like, it's good and let's go to the room and, like, all that stuff. But I feel like it's Day's way of being like, we're going to take it there just so Ben can pop up. And then she kind of realizes, like, oh, like, I can't continue what we were doing before he got here because I'm now still thinking about him.
I cannot believe she told Trip, are you okay? I can't stop thinking about Ben.
Well, at least she was honest.
Cannot believe she uttered those words to him.
She was honest, and I was like, you go, girl.
What's he supposed to think? I mean, wah. That's like, oh my gosh.
I don't.
I can't believe she said
it. But this whole, like, Ciara trying to decide between Trip and Ben reminds me of when Vivian was playing Ciara, and they did that one episode where she couldn't decide between, like, she's like, I like good boys and I like bad boys, and she was trying to decide between Theo and someone else. Who was the bad boy?
The computer guy?
Maybe. Yeah, Winston.
Winston?
Yes. And so, so it reminded me of that, and I'm like, here she goes again, like, trying to decide between the good and the bad. Go with the bad, girl. Go with the bad.
You know, it's sad because now that Ben is in the picture, Trip, there's no chance for him.
Yeah.
Because they're
Wyatt,
that's
not
the
Winston.
Computer guy, right?
Yeah, Wyatt.
Thank you.
Thank you,
fans.
My World 2. Or Me World 2.
There's no comparison. And when...
Oh, Chase.
Chase?
Was it Chase?
Was he ever considered a bad boy?
He had a rocky past.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
She's always, Ciara's always been, I don't know whether to call her Ciara or Sierra, because Ben calls her Ciara, which is like,
That's Rob Wilson's Boston accent coming out. Ciara.
Close the door.
Yeah.
Ciara.
Ciara.
She's got a thing for underdogs.
Yeah.
Underdog. And clearly that's part of the attraction.
Yeah.
Part of the attraction. But that fall was sick.
Listen,
when they fell.
Oh, in Horton Town Square.
Oh my living word! I was shocked the square didn't explode with the amount of heat and chemistry coming off of those two.
I was like,
yes,
okay.
Thank you very much.
I was like, listen, I am all about the sin.
Holy mackerel!
I don't understand how. Listen, necktie killer or not, Ben walks into a room. I'm just gonna be like.
Just a fan with open arms.
So a fan with open arms. Oh my gosh. All right. So you know what? We should do a poll to find out which ship people want to get on board with.
That would be fun.
Sin.
It seems clear to me, but you know, there could be other.
What's Ciara? Did Ciara and Trip ever get shipped?
I don't think so.
Well, I'll just put Ciara and Ben or
something.
Ciara and Trip and see what you say. Make sure you check out our Instagram. I'll put that poll up right after the show.
Yeah. And I am loving. There was just like 2 seconds of Claire this week, with her conversation with John, and just feeling really alone and being the loser at the wedding.
Oh, I have a +1.
I know.
And I don't have anyone to... Girl, try being in your mid-20s and then again in your mid-30s.
She's growing up.
And everybody and their mama is getting married and you get invited to the wedding and realize you still ain't got a +1.
I know. It was
Then you can come talk to me about being alone.
It was really a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
Between her and John.
But again, she's always still bore me.
Yeah. That's just who she is.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a very adult conversation that she had with him. And I liked seeing that side. I like seeing that.
And also John knew something was going on, so.
Yeah. Thank goodness she's singing.
Yeah. Well, all right. Moving right along.
Yes. Well, how about Rafe and Hope?
Oh.
How are you feeling about them? Still not. Okay.
I still never really quite got on board with Rafe and Hope.
Okay.
Yeah. And this mentioning of dessert all the time before dinner.
Is that an old joke between the two?
I don't know if it's an old joke or if it's like an implication of like.
Right. Let's cut to the chase.
But I don't know,
maybe that's not good.
I still look at them as like really good
buddies, friends,
cop partners.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm glad they're moving the story along. I mean, I was over her holding him back and like can't get over this. Like, you need to get over it.
Oh, that story.
It happens.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they're moving it along, and I'm glad she'll be crushed when she finds out that he's not leaving town, because he's not going to.
Yeah.
So it'll be good. It'll be good.
Moving on. We have Marlena, John, Steve, and Kayla.
Yeah, he is.
I love the conversations that like John and Steve were having and Marlena and Kayla were having. And especially about, Kayla keeping the secret from Steve figuring out that she's keeping something from him. I like that moment in them like giving advice. I love the girly moment of like Marlena preparing for the wedding. I love the flashback of her just being like, I loved everything about that day, my makeup, my hair, even
dress.
that thing I wore. Like, it was, and the whole time I was like, go cut the flashback.
Yes, me too.
And so when she was standing there and she kind of looked off, I was like, yes, it's coming. So it's great to see the preparation for this wedding, but in true Days fashion, her being like, it's bad luck for you to see me in my dress, when John came in and saw Marlena in the dress.
Yes.
And she just keeps saying, I have a bad feeling
Anxiety.
that something is going to happen at this wedding.
She keeps using the word anxiety. I feel so anxious.
Yeah, and she's really big on tradition now, and it's almost like they're getting married for the first time, but I mean, they've been married a couple times now. But like Marlena just has this feeling like stuff is about to hit the fan, and I feel like that's Days' way of saying, y'all just wait.
Oh yeah, I mean it's clear.
It's about to happen.
It's not a question of if; it's a question of what or whom. I want to know what Samantha Jean is up to.
Ooh, that little sneaky phone call.
That little sneaky phone call.
To still be like, sorry, I can't attend your wedding.
Oh my gosh.
A fan on Twitter tweeted Ron Cavallari and was like, basically like, Ron, love you, love how you're writing, but so help me God, if Samantha comes back with Rafe's baby.
Pregnant, yes.
And,
with a baby.
And Ron responded with like, you'll just have to wait and see.
Oh my God.
And I'm just like, for Ron's sake, oh, but it doesn't go that way, because that fan sound like she meant business. Yeah. And shout out to Ron, because he does seem very interactive with the fans. Like I see him tweet back to fans and also get fans excited about the show and everything. So kudos to Ron. Come talk to us here at Dishin Days.
Please, we would love writers. I mean, my gosh, you guys, you're the backbone of this experience. So yeah, we would love them.
Shout out to him. Yeah. I'm going to tweet him today about, since he's bringing back so many guests, or so many characters, I'm going to tweet him and say, you know what? I think Maxine should come back.
Oh, there you go.
You should also bring her son.
You got to lay that groundwork.
Still trying to make that happen.
There was one thing too that I'm not sure I've ever seen it done on Days before. So Kayla and Jennifer are in the pub, right, having the conversation. And Jennifer is facing the door, and Kayla's starting to talk about, if Steve ever found out. And Jennifer sees Steve out of the corner of her eye, and she's like, girl, like, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And he comes up like, hey, everyone. And then they show Steve having a flashback of overhearing their conversation, which we never had that point of view from him.
Yeah. Well, I think it was because he walked in pretending like he didn't hear it, but then in fact he did.
He did, and I love that. Just him having that moment of reflection of like he actually did hear it.
Do you think Kayla should take Marlena's advice and tell Steve where the eye actually came from?
I'm in agreement with Marlena, but that's not going to happen. Because, of course, Ron created that moment with Kayla outside the pub having that conversation with Stefan, and now Stefan wants her to do more dirty work for him.
Keep him in the know of what's happening with the baby. She's like, I can't do that. I'm like, you trying to get her fired?
And then him saying, what I gave, I can take away. So I think her intention was to go in and just be honest with him.
Yeah.
But that's not going to happen now.
Oh, boy.
I know.
Well, let me tell you this. I am excited about this wedding.
I know.
I can't
think
wait.
about it too much because I'll go crazy.
Well, I'm
like so excited.
It's obviously coming up very soon.
2 weeks.
But before we continue...
Salem time.
Yes.
Whatever that means.
Before we continue on with our conversation, Tammy, let's discuss some AfterBuzz TV business.
I want to talk to all the AfterBuzzers out there. Here at the network, we produce after shows for nearly every genre. We've got dramas, reality, sci-fi, and so much more. There's no network that works harder to serve television fans. But we are asking for your help now. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels, and there's a lot to choose from. Subscribing to our YouTube channels will also help you discover new shows we are sure you're going to love. Since you're already tuned into the drama channel, which Dishin Days is on, you might be interested in Queen of the South. We've got Black Mirror, we've got The Affair, Bold Type. Those are just a few selections. And remember, we have channels for other genres too, so please don't be shy about subscribing to those as well. And if you're worried about those notifications, don't be, because they're optional. It's easy. Hit the subscribe button now for an even easier AfterBuzz experience, and let us know you did in the comments. And guess what? If you do that, we'll give you a shout out on air. So thanks for being the best fans. We promise to continue to do our best to serve you. Thank you.
That has been brought to you by the kind folks here at AfterBuzz TV. All right, so moving right along, we have our tidbits.
Yes. I was surprised Victor didn't throw her under the bus.
Right. I was too.
I was really, they had
Talking
a good
Eve.
Cliffhanger on Friday because I really didn't know which way that was going to go.
Well, her and Victor kept like looking at each other like, and I'm kind of glad Victor was just kind of taking the brunt of everything. It's kind of like, but we all know the ball's gonna drop once everything is just kind of revealed, because going back to Kayla and Jennifer is struggling with telling Eric.
Secrets.
I told you in the beginning. Secrets. Y'all should know better about secrets.
And
Days has been on for 50 years.
And I love the fact, Eve, okay, she always has secrets. She's good at that.
Yeah.
But to see Jennifer and Kayla struggling with this is fantastic. I love it. The struggle is real.
So there's that. Brady pretty much was just kind of like, Victor admit everything. Victor didn't tell him about Eve.
Now Eve's got to convince Brady to talk to Granddaddy. Be nice to Granddaddy, right? Or else he's going to blow her out of the water.
Good luck. Well, Eve, you know what you got
She'll
to do.
Work it.
You know what you got to do to convince Brady to forgive Grandpapa. Right? Oh, boy. All right, Lonnie and Eli.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay. I don't know.
Do you want them together?
Yes.
Okay.
When they kissed, I was like, okay, I can see this happening. But then when she got cray-cray, I was like, girl, like, calm down, slow your roll.
That surprised me a little bit.
A little bit, but then she realized what was happening, and she got brought back down to earth. I just kind of want. This is gonna sound bad, but I want them just to get back to their normal life. Like, I think dwelling on the death of David. Take your time, take a moment, take a beat, make sure he's in your thoughts always. But let's get back to life.
It's interesting because Eli has said a couple of times that it was more than just the idea of being a father. It was more than just the idea of, having a baby. It really made him realize it was about being with Lonnie. Mm-hmm. And he said that a couple of times, not just this week, but in the weeks previous. Yeah. And so when he kissed her, I think part of it was being a guy, because he said to her, I just want to be at peace for a little while. I just want to forget all of this just for a little while. And having sex with someone is a perfect opportunity to just forget about everything. Yeah. And I think there was a moment where she was on the same page, but she's still working through all of that. That whole death certificate thing was just like, oh my God.
I thought for some reason, I thought she was going to have the birth and death certificate, but she just had the death.
Yeah. And I think now now after that moment, the moving on part will start.
I hope so.
I think so.
Havoc in the chat room.
What? What's happening?
Havoc said, not a Lonnie fan, still mad at her for sleeping with drunk JJ when she knew he was with Gabby. Girl, that was years ago. Be like Elsa and let it go, let it go. So much has happened in between that.
People hold on to stuff.
Oh, girl, I can't. Okay, well, girl, be mad. But we done let it go over here. All right, so that was that. And then Will, Sonny, and Ted. Ooh. Ted making the confession that he's the one that knows everything. And I love that he laid it out for them. Like, look, I knew something might be up, had a private investigator, saw that Leo was at your house. He didn't walk out. Y'all got in the car, abandoned the car, much to our surprise. Leo's body was, and it's just like.
Wrapped up like a burrito.
Yeah. And then they still tried to play it off like they ain't do nothing. I'm like, y'all are good, but at some point you just got to go, okay, what do you want?
He's got to cave in and just tell the truth.
And so then there were thoughts going in my head like, is Ted just playing with Kate to mess with Will and Sonny?
I think he just wants money.
I wanted Ted to be with Kate. I like Ted and Kate. I like Take.
I just think he wants the money, and I don't think it has anything to do with his feelings for Kate. I think he cares about her. I think he enjoys being with her. Ugh. I think he can, what's that word, compartmentalize? Like, I'm just going to get the money. She'll never find out because they're never going to tell anybody about this. They can't. Right. And I'll be able to have my cake and eat it too. Have my cake. Well,
I get what you're trying to do. I get what you're trying to do.
You know what I'm saying.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see.
I was kind of hoping that Leo was still alive.
I was too, but that's not to say he's not. You can't believe everything that Ted's saying.
Well, this is true.
You never know. Maybe they're working together. Who knows? Well, one can only hope. But I did like that moment between Chad and Sonny, because now Sonny needs money.
Yeah, and Chad overheard.
And he overheard that. It's like, do you need some help here?
And Sonny was doing everything in his power to be like, no, girl, I'm good. Yeah, I'm okay. No, girl, I'm good. No, girl, I got it. Yeah,
so
girl, I'm good.
So he doesn't have the money? I don't understand. He has the money. Why is he saying...
Well, he doesn't have access, because he said that. Because he's not the CEO of Titan anymore, so he doesn't have access to that kind of money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, apparently everybody in Salem got money. Ain't nobody working.
That's always a dilemma on soap operas in general.
Yeah,
no,
I mean, I'm just saying.
Very few people have jobs.
Yeah. and then when you are working, everybody coming to your job. So it's just kind of like, I don't know.
And so that was it for Will, Sonny, Paul. Oh, there's no Paul.
No Paul.
Miss Paul.
No Paul.
Miss Paul this week.
I am very interested in seeing how this Steve, Adrian, Lucas, Steve on the hunt.
I'm curious.
Steve on the hunt for Bonnie.
For Bonnie.
Yeah. Does that mean Bonnie's going to be... Well, obviously, because it was announced months ago that Farrah Fawcett was coming back as Mimi.
Mimi.
So, I love Judy Evans as Bonnie.
Yeah.
And I love that Bonnie is just like out in the world making coins and still like robbing from the rich to get richer. And she's like, peace out. Because Steve was basically like the whole land thing in Texas and blah, blah, blah. And that she has enough money to stay lost forever.
Yes. And Adrian's reaction was like, oh.
Kudos to you, because Hattie over in jail mad at Bonnie. Bonnie is out in the world like making it rain on everybody.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah.
Like what Lucas is going to have, what his involvement in this is. And yeah, it's an interesting little storyline.
It's going to be interesting.
They're just giving like little drops of that storyline. So it'll be interesting how it rolls out.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was your week of days.
Yeah.
And now it's time for our segments, and it's time for mine, which is Tony's official 3 Snaps Award. Oh, snap! I know y'all have been missing it.
Oh, yes.
I have too. But this week I struggled with the 3 Snaps Award. I was like, there hasn't been anything that made me go like, yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Until I took a good look at someone's face this week. And I thought to myself, finally, his face has healed from all those cuts, and we finally know what you look like. So kudos to Tyler Christopher as Stefan for his face finally clearing up. 3 snaps for that face finally clearing up, y'all. Yeah, I was like,
You're hysterical.
Well, I was like, for the longest time, like every time he came on the scene, it was always a cut here, still bruised. I'm like, girl, you must not have like the molecules to like heal quickly. Now all of a sudden I look and I was like,
yeah.
Oh, we're healing now.
He's finally using Neosporin.
Yeah, some is working. So kudos to that face for finally healing. That gets Tony's official 3 Snaps Award. Oh, snap! All right, and now it's time for...
Designer Days. You know, I think we gave this to Nadia Bjorlin probably a couple of weeks ago, but I had to, there was a lot to choose from this week. I was like, oh, I feel like a little kid in a candy store. Thank you. A quick shout out to Hair and Makeup for Days, because they always do an amazing job. And then the folks in wardrobe, Richard, the key wardrobe stylist, Cleo, Kristen, Jamie, and Sarah, and the rest of the wardrobe people. Again, they love Diane von Furstenberg, because this is another Diane von Furstenberg dress. It's an asymmetrical mini dress. We've got blue silk Eloise asymmetric dress featuring long sleeves, a wrap style V-neck, a side tie fastening flared skirt. And so I love the shorter in the front and the longer in the back. And the color, her eyes. Oh, my living word, Nadia, Chloe's eyes.
Nadia has always had the most gorgeous eyes.
And this color it was absolutely stunning. So, Designer Days goes to Nadia Bjorlin.
Chloe Lane.
Woo!
All right, and now many of you were asking, where's Caption That? Well, Michael Mattis is on vacay, so is Caption That. So it will be back next week along with Michael Mattis. And now it's time for...
Dishin Days Fan of the Week. Woohoo!
Fan of the week is going to, should I say Lara or Lara? Lara, Lara, at Lola614 on Twitter. Now, this is in a reply to Michael's Woman Crush Wednesday question, what's your favorite Marlena storyline? So Lara says, y'all gonna make my head explode. I'd have to say either The Affair or 97 Reunion, but then there's 98, 99 when J&M are finally free to be together. But also you have 86 falling in love with Roman all over again, or The Anguish of the Letter and Secret Room. Oh, and hashtag every other storyline. So kudos to Lara. Laura, apologize if I'm not saying your name correctly, for your Marlena fandom.
There we go. And that has been
Dishin Days Fan of the Week. Woohoo!
I have to say, I think my favorite was always The Secret Room.
As such
with
a
her
good
and Kristen.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Now it's time for some news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
All right, I'll kick things off. Many of you would like to know where you can meet your favorite Days of Our Lives stars. And this September, Starstruck Fan Events will be holding an event in Boston, September 29th through 30th. It is Passion for Days event at the Envision Hotel. Scheduled to appear is Eric Martov, who plays Brady. Robert Scott Wilson was just at it, who plays Ben. Jordy, who played Dario. I can never say his last name. Jordy's going to get me. Sorry, Jordy. Vincent Irizarry, who played Deimos. And also Lindsay Hartley from Passions, who was also Ariana? Yes. From Days is going to be there too.
Perfect.
Yeah. So make sure you go to starstruckfanevents.com to reserve your tickets and hotel. So make sure you check that out in Boston. Shout out to Paul and Keith, the owners and organizers of Starstruck Fan Events. You guys are doing a great job, and I hope I get to make it to one of these events. We should all go. It'd be fun.
It would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been to one of their events. So.
Yeah.
Up next, we have lovely Cassie DePaiva. This is so much fun because I love going to these kinds of events myself. If you're a horror fan, she's going to be in attendance for an event called Horror Hound Weekend. It's going to be held at the JW Marriott in Indianapolis, August 24th through the 26th. She's going to be there to promote her 1987 horror classic film Evil Dead 2. So if you guys are horror fans and you love the film and you love Cassie, make sure and get out there and support her.
Yeah.
It's going to be so much fun.
And in casting news, our very favorite fan of the show, lovable Miss Marcy Miller, has been cast in a lead role for a new film called Wiped.
Yes.
Directed by Santiago Salvich. Wiped is a crime drama and Netflix original, so congratulations to Marcy. And also, side note, I'm going to add this little bit of casting news. Camila Banos has just been casted in a reoccurring role on Fox's hit show Star, and she's in Atlanta filming that now. So shout out to Camila for getting that. And some more casting
news, yes. So everyone, I'm sure you remember James Lastovic. He played Joey Johnson on Days. He's been cast in the recurring role of Christian in Netflix. Netflix is snatching up everybody. A recurring role of Christian in the upcoming Netflix series Insatiable. Lastovic, James, plays kid named Christian, a teen raised by a mother in the junior league and a preacher father who naturally rebels against his wholesome family, which makes him an outcast and quite popular. So congratulations, James, on that casting news.
Yes, and happy birthday to Mr. Emmy Award winner James Reynolds, who celebrated a birthday this week. Also, Nadia Bjorlin celebrated a birthday as well, and they celebrated while they were in Denver. So shout out to Nadia and James, and happy birthday, and many more.
And I think we've got some photos from the Denver event.
Yes.
Because I know you had sent a little shout out to the fans if you were there.
Yes.
Send us your photos.
The Denver event looked really fun. It seemed like it was packed. A lot of the stars were there: Mary Beth Evans, James Reynolds, Nadia Bjorlin, Robert Scott Wilson, Victoria Konefeld, Casey Moss, Paul Tefler,
Yes.
were all in attendance. And we also got some fan pics as well. I asked you guys to send in your photos, and I was glad. Oh, go ahead.
That was actually, those 2 photos were from Michelle Scott.
Yes.
At Scott2Appy, and she's from Denver, Colorado.
Nice.
So those are her 2 photos. And that's her.
Yeah,
right?
well, that's Michelle Scott.
That's Michelle Scott.
When she met Nadia Bjorlin, and then I think we have another one from Michelle, and I love the caption she put of this. It was like the next generation of Days watchers, which was super cute. And then we also had at Bichette707. Who got to meet Casey Moss, and I think she thoroughly enjoyed that.
She looks lovely. Look at that.
Yes.
It's a great photo.
So shout out to you guys. Thank you guys so much for sending in your photos, and shout out to all of you guys who attended the Denver event, and congratulations to the folks over at Days for putting on a wonderful event for the fans in Denver.
Now let's take a look at what's coming up next week on Days of Our Lives.
Ooh.
Abigail, I'm surprised to see you here. Yeah, well, I'm kind of surprised to see you there.
When they get jealous,
Not so fast.
they'll turn it up
The 2 of you have been hooking up behind my back.
and take it off.
This guy's gonna stroll around practically naked.
Days, NBC weekdays.
Yes!
Yes!
Oh!
It's good stuff.
Oh!
It's
love
good
it.
stuff.
I love all of it.
Oh my
gosh. This
I'm
week
telling
is
you,
gonna be so
it's
good.
hot in Salem this summer.
It's real hot in Salem, and the whole girl thing with Gabby and Abigail.
Yeah.
The way she walked in and was like, surprised to see you sitting there, girl.
That's perfect.
Yes, it is.
We did it.
All right, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Before we head out, Tammy, let the folks know where they can find you.
So you can find me on Twitter at Tammy Govea, and on Insta and Facebook, Tammy Govea Official.
And of course, you guys can find all of us on our Instagram and Facebook page, Dishin Days, or _Dishin Days on Twitter. And you can find little old me on at Lounger with Tony on all social media platforms. We will be back next Sunday for another full recap of your favorite soap opera Days of Our Lives. Until then, enjoy. Bye. Y'all.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.